Welcome, this is Candace Arney. I'm here again with Joel Bruce Wallach, the inventor of Powerforms. Our subject is brain balancing and soothing, and the disc we're going to be using is the neutral space disc. So, Joel, take it with that.
Neutral space for brain balancing. Well, that should be natural because anything that helps you access a more smooth, balanced, grounded, neutral state
Mm-hmm.
should be good for your brain because it's so easy for our precious brains to get preoccupied with this and that and the other thing. So, this is a fun exercise. It just takes a few moments and a little bit of visualization. Hold your disc like so. So you're interacting with it. Now, bring, using your intention, the energy of your brain, just let it flow down, let it flow into the disc and move around a little bit, and then bring that mental energy back into your body. Now, if that sounds like a far out thing to do, just try it and do it a few times. Energy from the brain flows through the arms into the neutral space plate, flows back into your body. It's a subtle thing, but it's a real thing. You'll start to notice something about the way time flows and the way you feel relative to the rest of the world. And I want to hear it in your words because I just used my words.
Well, what I actually feel is I feel complete from my toes, my tippy toes,
Mm.
to my head. I do feel with that running of the energy, like I'm all together, like my mind and body are connected, that
Yeah.
uh, I'm, I'm, everything's flowing
Mm-hmm.
like it should be flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a very soothing, kind of quiet, neutral kind of space. But I feel whole.
Yeah. And yet you're totally clear.
Mm-hmm.
You are not sedated.
Right.
You are not spaced out.
I'm not on drugs.
You are present.
Yeah.
See, this is the beautiful thing because many of us have not yet realized if you're really present, that doesn't mean you're on hypervigilant
Right.
or on edge. You can be present and notice the subtleties within and all around you.
Yes.
One more little exercise to bring neutrality to the brain. Now, the back part of the brain is the primitive part. It's the more animal part that if somebody says the wrong thing, we can suddenly get angry for no reason because our animal part starts snarling. And then we have the front part of the brain, which is the more creative part, and it's also the intuitive part, and it's also the part that can um, tune into things, can imagine new possibilities. We could call it the more advanced or the higher mind or whatever. Um, what's the best way to do this? Because this involves a little bit of visualization, but also the moving of the plate. You're going to move the plate, let's do it this way, from the front of the brain to the back of the brain. Let's try it like that.
Wow.
It's going to smooth out the meridians of the head, and it's going to start to create a bridge between the front of the brain and the back of the brain.
It definitely is a different sensation.
And I need to emphasize, because this is creating unity and because it's creating clarity, when I say that it feels really good, I don't mean to imply good as in uh, some chemical experience or alcohol experience. It's a very balanced, very alive quality
But you do feel, it does feel connected.
Very connected, and I can feel it's as if the energy is circulating through my entire body.
Hmm.
And I feel way more present, and I feel, and remember, everybody's different. I'm pretty sensitive to energy, you're pretty sensitive to energy, and a number of people interested in power forms are. But if you're not yet energy aware, the tools will help you to be so, because they're going to smooth out the rough spots in your energy flow, and you will start to feel more.
Yeah, I really think for people who aren't feelers, they don't feel things, that it really is just being aware of a difference in state.
Mm,
Just,
difference in state, which to you might feel lighter, brighter, more peaceful.
or not so jagged or rigid
Mm,
or uptight or, you know,
yes. And so I would invite you, if you have a neutral space plate, try different things. I'll give you some ideas. So we talked about this,
mm-hmm,
but you could also do something like, which
mm-hmm.
is really nice. And some of these things, I don't quite have the words for it, but I can feel that as the different sides of the brain activate, something really nice is happening. You can also, of course, let's just do a little pulsing. Pulsing the brain with the neutral space. And if you slow it down, it's even more peaceful.
I think the real key with the power forms, and one of the reasons that we're doing this, is
Mm,
to show all of the people who have a power forms that it's not limited to what we print in our books, or even limited to what we're showing in these videos.
right.
Is that you can use just to try different things. I mean, if you're stuck, or if your back hurts or something, work work with the power forms. Use, the more you use it, the more intuitive you're going to become with it. Just like when I asked you, Joel, how do I deal with this subject? You just kind of look around and go, oh, that's the one. That's the disc I'm going to use.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I really think that's one of our purposes in doing these videos, to educate the owner that this is unlimited, that the power
Right.
are unlimited of what you can do with them.
Yes. If I felt that my brain today was affected by, something in the back of the neck, I could do something there, or I could pulse this.
Or
Now, the
even,
idea that you work on a different part of your body, it unlocks the tension there, and that helps your brain. You'll get used to figuring in that way. You'll recognize, let me just find what's stuck. Let me unstick where the stuckness is, and that will benefit my body and my brain. And if you really want to go back and do something for your brain, if you want to attract a lot of attention when you're walking down the street and just do all this stuff publicly, and
yeah, I don't know that that's going to work. But you know what I really, I hear you, for me, and what you just said, is that this allows you the opportunity, if you're, especially working with the brain balancing, is that if you're stuck, if you're stuck on one thing, and it's like you can't understand what someone is saying, or you can't see a different perspective,
Mhm.
you're just stuck. That this is a way to balance the brain, to balance that way that you're thinking, to make you more open to other possibilities.
Mm, that is a really important point. That if your brain, if your brain's trying to understand, or your brain just can't figure somebody out or a situation out, the harder you try and figure it, the more tense you become.
Yes.
But if you go into the basic fabric of the brain, the energy of the brain, and you smooth out the energy within the brain, then on its own, the brain will intuitively give you what you need. Maybe not immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but at the very least, you'll feel better, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes, yes.
You can get that happening.
That is just phenomenal, Joel. Thank you
Yes.
again for sharing on the brain, on the brain balancing and using the neutral space. Until next time.
Thank you, Candace.